Hello, and welcome to the Restoration Revolution Summit, Leading from Wholeness and Not Depletion. I am your host, Dr. Denise Moore Revel, also the founder of the Own Your Amazing movement and the creator of the Restoration Leadership Framework. I am so excited you decided to join us for this summit. Again, this summit is designed to help you to understand this. You don't have to sacrifice your soul, your well-being in order to succeed in your career. You don't have to do it. I want you to go from burnout to breakthrough. And how can you do that? By understanding the Restoration Leadership Framework. Restore, reclaim, and rise. So on yesterday's session, on day number 1, we talked about restore, right? What does it mean to restore? It means to rest, to reflect, and release. And I hope you gave yourself a minute to really think about those things and think about how can you restore yourself. But today, we're going to move into the second R of the framework, and that is reclaim. Yes, reclaim, reclaim, reclaim. This is where you can get bold, have audacious, unapologetic boldness, right? To surely show up as yourself. But you have to be able to reclaim these things that we're going to talk about in today's session. And it's about saying that I am no longer going to give myself away. I'm not going to water myself down. I'm not going to dumb myself down. I'm not going to play small. None of that. It's about really reclaiming who you are in this time of your life, okay? And let me tell you, this is powerful. When you really understand what it means to reclaim yourself, your power, and all these things we're going to be talking about, it is so powerful. I'm telling you, your life is going to change in so many wonderful ways. Because when a woman like you reclaim her voice, her power, and her presence, everything changes. The world shifts, the community shifts, our family shifts, the workplace, all of that shifts because we stand in our power. But unfortunately, a lot of us aren't doing that. So this is why this conversation, this session is so important. It's time for you to reclaim yourself, okay? And how are we going to do that? Step by step that I'm going to share with you, okay? So I know what it feels like to lose your voice, okay? So I know what it's like to lose your voice, physically and figuratively. I have been a speech language pathologist for over 30 years. So I literally know what it's like for someone to lose their voice physically, right? But here I'm talking more about figuratively. How do we lose our voice? And your voice is how you show up in the world. What do you say? What do you proclaim? Who are you? That is what I talk about when I talk about your voice, okay? Not necessarily your physical voice. It can be that as well. But in this instance, I'm talking about more of how you show up. How do you live your life out loud, okay? And there was a time in my life, especially early on in my career as a speech language pathologist, that my voice was silent. I would go into these meetings. I was on different medical teams, interdisciplinary teams, multidisciplinary teams, all of this. And there were so many times in the beginning that I would just sit there quiet, right? How is that? The speech pathologist, the communicator, sitting there quiet. But there were so many times I didn't really feel like I had a voice, that I had the power to speak up and to say and to express my ideas and offer things to the team because I had lost confidence in my own voice and in my own power. So I don't know if you can relate to that. I know that was me for many years, where I really did not speak up. I had ideas and I didn't share them. And then someone else shared the idea and they got applauded. They got the accolades. And I'm sitting there thinking in my mind, I know that. I was thinking that. Or my idea is even better than that. But the problem is I never shared it. The problem is you never speak up either, right? So, and reclaiming, one of the areas I want us to talk about is reclaiming our voice, reclaiming how we show up, reclaiming how we speak up, everything. Just so reclaiming our voice, okay? So, but then it came a time where I said to myself, you know what? My voice is important. What I have to say is important. My perspective, my ideas, it is value that I can add to the conversation. There is something that I can add, but I had to come to that. I had to reclaim my voice. So I want that for you as well. I want you to stop showing up small, stop showing up silent, sitting in the corner. A lot of times people say, I just want to be in the background. Well, that's good sometimes, but not all the time. I think sometimes we use it as a crutch. And because we allow fear of speaking up not to cause us to speak up. We get afraid, we self-doubt, we criticize, we compare and think, well, I'm not as smart as the next person. I'm not as good. We silence our own voices. We do it to ourselves a lot of times. Yes, there are times when outside forces have silenced our voices, but for the most part, we are the ones who silence ourselves, not other people. Because a lot of other people really want to hear from you. They want to hear your ideas. They want to know your perspective because they know you can add value to it. But you have to reclaim your own voice. Okay. So I want to ask you a question. My question is, in what area have you silenced your own voice? In what area have you silenced your own voice? Where have you told yourself to be quiet, right? And only you really know that. Only you know when you're sitting in those meetings or in those situations and you're not really speaking up for yourself. Only you really know that, okay? So ask yourself, where have I been silencing my own voice? And yes, some of us have been told we're too much, we're too loud, we're too emotional, we're too much, too this or too that, right? But your voice is not too much. Your voice is exactly what someone needs to hear. Your voice is necessary, okay? I want you to start reclaiming your power when it comes to your voice. When it comes to your voice. So again, where have you silenced yourself? And how about where can you start today using your voice in a more powerful way? It could be just something really simple, as speaking up in the next meeting, sharing your ideas with a team member, with a family member. But where have you been silent? And then where can you start today opening your mouth and expressing and using the power of your voice, okay? Another area I want us to talk about where you need to reclaim is the area of boundaries. Let me say that again. Reclaim your boundaries. This is so big for me right now. You have to learn that every time you say yes to someone else, you're saying no to yourself. Unless that yes aligns with your purpose. Let me say it again. Every yes you say to someone else is a no to yourself. Unless that yes is really aligning with what you want to do. A lot of us have issues with setting boundaries, saying no. What's the saying? No is a complete sentence. I don't need to explain my no. No, that doesn't work for me right now in my life. And it's okay. But boundaries aren't walls to keep people out. They are guardrails to keep you safe and whole. Let me say that again. Boundaries are not walls to keep people out. They are guardrails to keep you safe and whole. Boundaries are meant to protect your peace, your purpose, and your power. They're meant for your protection because if you don't have boundaries, you're saying yes and yes and yes and do it and people pleasing. It's too much and it causes you to lose yourself. But a lot of times we think that when we say no or set a boundary with someone, they're going to get mad. They're going to be upset with us. And they may be. You're right. They may be. Okay. And they have a right to feel how they're going to feel. But I have a right to set boundaries for things in my life. Yes, some people may say it's selfish, but I believe it's self-care when I set boundaries that protect my peace, my power, and my energy. I can set the boundaries to say, no, this is how far I can go. This is how far you're going to come. But it's guardrails for me to make sure I'm staying safe in terms of protecting my peace and my power and my energy. So it's okay if someone gets mad at you for saying no. It's okay. They'll be okay. But more importantly, you would be okay. You would be protecting your peace and your power and your purpose. And you will be teaching others how to treat you. If you always saying yes and doing, people don't value your time and your energy and you as much if you don't value your time because you're always saying yes, you're always available, always doing. But tell people, well, no, I can't do that right now. And they'll understand that, hey, her time is valuable. Her energy is valuable. She's valuable to herself, that she's willing to put some boundaries and to protect things I can say yes to and some things I can't say yes to. And I'm okay with that. And whoever else can be okay with it or not. That's not really my problem. That's not really my focus. My focus is making sure that I set boundaries so I can show up and say yes to the things that I really want to say yes to. So this is a big one for a lot of women, is that we say yes when we really want to scream, no, no. So I am giving you permission to set some boundaries. I've worked with so many women in this area because it is a struggle. It is a challenge for a lot of women to really set boundaries. We've been so used to being there for everybody and being on it that when it's time to say, well, you know what, I don't do that anymore. No, I don't work weekends. No, I can't come to every function that you're having. I can't do it. But this is what I can do, and this is what I'm willing to do, because when I do those things, I show up in a better space. And so set some boundaries, and boundaries really help you come back into yourself, and it makes you have clarity about what is really important and what's really a priority in your life. So, question, what's one boundary you know you need to reclaim right now? What's one boundary you know you need to reclaim right now? It may be not answering emails after a certain time, turning off your phone, saying no to family members, saying no to your boss and colleagues about doing extra work, whatever it is. What's the one boundary that you need to set for yourself today? And what would change if you actually honored it? I remember having a conversation with someone. We was coaching. She was like, this is her boundary. We checked in a couple of weeks. Well, have you been honoring it? Have you been doing it? It's like, no. So it's one thing to set the boundary. Another thing is that you have to honor it. Other people won't honor your boundaries unless you honor your boundaries, okay? It's not up to them, because they're going to come with the same expectations that you're going to always do what you've always done. But when you say, well, no, I'm not doing that anymore, and you have to stand firm in that. You have to stand firm that this is my boundary. This is how far I'm going to go with this. This is what I can do. Other than that, I'm done. But unless you honor it, they're not going to honor it. So don't expect them to. I'm telling you right now, you have to honor your own boundaries so you can teach other people how to treat you. So what's one boundary you know you need to reclaim right now? And what would change if you actually honored it? I really want you to think about that, okay? And so the third area that I want us to talk about in terms of reclaiming, we talked about reclaiming our voice, reclaiming our boundaries, and now I want to talk about reclaiming your power. Reclaim your power. And so let's be clear about what power is and what power is not. I think a lot of people have a misunderstanding what true power is. Power is not about dominating, being domineering, controlling, trying to do everything and be over everybody. That's not true power. True power is about alignment. Let me say that again. True power is about alignment. It's about standing fully in who you are without apology. Are you standing in your power about who you are and not apologizing about it? It's like, this is who I am. This is how I'm showing up. I'm standing in my power. Is that the case for you? So many of us give our power away. How do we give it away? Through fear, through doubt, through comparison. Oh my goodness. We give it over to other people. But a lot of us are doing it without even realizing that we've given our power away. But the power is yours. You have the right to stand in your own power. That's why my movement is called Own Your Amazing. You got to own it for yourself. You have to own who you are and reclaim who you are. I would like to sit here and say if I've always owned my amazing, always stood in my power. Not the case. Not the case. I've had to grow in it. And along the way, I've had to show myself some grace. And so it is a growing in it. But understand I need to grow in it and not stay stuck in giving my power away to fear, to doubt, to comparison, to other people, but to learn to stand in my power and my truth of who I am. Because all I can be is me. And I need to embrace that. All you can be is you. So why not be the best you? But it's going to take you reclaiming your power and stop giving it away to your boss, to your colleagues, to your family, to other people who don't even know you and you don't really know. But we give it away by worrying about what they're thinking about us, worrying about this and that, instead of saying, well, this is who I am and this is how I'm showing up. Okay? So it's about really shifting your mindset and stop competing, stop comparing, but stand in your own realm of genius. Stand in who you are, who you've been created to be, all your gifts and talents and abilities. Claim those. Those are yours. That's where your power lies. A lot of times we aren't powerful because we're doing everything everyone else is telling us to do, or we're trying to imitate other people. There is no power in that. There is no power in that. My power comes when I show up as Dr. Denise. I can't show up as Dr. someone else. I am powerful when I show up as me, being me, all of me. And so the same with you. So a lot of times we're looking to the left, we're looking to the right. Or let me do it like she's doing it. Let me do. That's how they do it. That's why they're powerful, because they're doing it the way they're meant to do it. You have to do it the way you are meant to do it, and that's where your power comes from. Okay. So again, I want you to reclaim your power and stand in who you really are. So the question is, who or what have you been giving your power away to? Who, person or people? Or what have you been giving your power away to? And what would it look like if you reclaimed it today? What would your life look like if you really reclaimed your power? If you show them, say, this is who I am, and I'm not going to apologize for it. I'm not going to cower down because of it, but this is who I am. What would that be for you? What would that look like? I really want you to imagine that. So I just have a little simple exercise I want us to do. So you can close your eyes or you can leave your eyes open, but I really want you to hear what I'm about to say. Okay. I want to lead you through a short declaration. So again, this summit is called Restoration Revolution. We're doing it differently. We're declaring something different. So I want to lead you through a short declaration, a declaration of, you call it independence, a declaration of restoration, whatever you want to call it. Okay. And I want you to say these words. You can say them silently to yourself or out loud, not being in an environment where you can say them out loud. But I really want you to say these things and really take them to heart. So I want you to repeat after me. I reclaim my voice. I reclaim my voice. I reclaim my boundaries. I reclaim my boundaries. I reclaim my power. I reclaim my power. You don't need anyone's permission to reclaim your power. It's yours. You don't need anyone's permission to reclaim your boundaries. They're yours. And you don't need anyone's permission to reclaim your voice. It's yours. So you have a choice today in how you're going to move forward. Are you going to move forward in silence, continuing to silence your voice? Are you going to move forward with not honoring your boundaries? Or are you going to move forward with not standing in your power? It's a choice. And we get to make that choice every day. Every day we wake up, it's a choice. And I hope starting today that you choose to reclaim who you are. I really hope that for you. And it's important that you do it because it affects your leadership. It affects how you lead other people. More importantly, it affects how you lead yourself. Also, it impacts how you lead other people as well, whether it's your family, your friends, your job, your coworkers, your team. It really affects how you reclaim all these three things that we talked about today in this session, okay? So today we talked about the second R, reclaim. Reclaim your voice because your truth matters. Reclaim your boundaries because your peace matters. Let me say that again. Your peace matters. And reclaim your power because your presence matters. Your truth matters, your peace matters, and your presence matter. And the only way those things are going to matter is if you reclaim. Okay? Awesome. Because when you reclaim, everything around you shifts and changes. You become a model of courage for other women in leadership. You become a model of what it means to be authentic. You model what it means to live in total freedom. Okay? You are the model, all right? So show up in the most powerful way. So that is all I have for our second pillar of the restoration leadership framework. We talked about restore, and today we just finished talking about reclaim. And so the next pillar we're going to talk about is rise. Let me tell you a little something. The only way you can truly rise is that you get restored and you reclaim, okay? So we're going to talk about that on the next session. Because once you restore and reclaim, it's easy to rise. It really is. And so rise is about rising in your leadership, rising in your calling, rising to fully who you are, okay? So that is it for now. The Restoration Revolution is continuing, and I'm so glad you're part of this summit. Thank you for showing up. I'm so excited for you. and all that this really means for you. Okay, so make sure you look at the other speakers, the other leaders. We had some amazing conversations. Make sure you check those out if you haven't already. Let's see what else. Make sure you have downloaded your workbook so you can take notes and answer the reflection questions. Secondly, make sure you check out the virtual swag bag. Our amazing speakers of the summit gifted you some amazing gifts that I think is really make a difference in your life. So make sure you check those out and use those tools and things that are available. A lot of times we have things that are available, we're just not using them. So make sure you check them out and use them. Okay. That's going to make the difference. Not just listening to these things, but actually implementing them into your life is what's going to change your life. Okay. And last but not least, there is still time to join us for the VIP on day number 4. And so we're going to be coming live in a session with the speakers. There's going to be coaching, community. It's going to be some amazing door prizes, but you have to be present to win the door prizes. But make sure you take advantage of coming together with other women who are on this journey of really doing it differently. That's what I'm talking about is how can we do this thing differently? So many of us have been burned out and leading from depletion and empty wagons. No more of that. So that is why I'm so passionate about this conversation, because I know it can make a difference in your life. I know because it made a difference in my life and those who are sharing on the summit. And so I know, we know. And so we want the same for you. Okay. So just continue to take notes, be a part of the summit, glean all that you can. Okay. But more importantly, I just really honor you for just being a part and being ready to show up for yourself. Okay. Well, until next time, I hope you make the rest of this day an amazing, amazing day and continue to own your amazing.